welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me, as always, is the wonderful Ben Slinger.
Hello, hello. I am the wonderful Ben Slinger, and welcome to Bitstorm, as Trevor already said. Just reiterating, just getting that vibe going, just getting the groove.
It always just rolls off the tongue. The wonderful Ben Slinger.
I mean, it's just so many people have said that about me that I think it's just sort of common knowledge out there in the world it's almost like an unofficial title, that I'm just wonderful.
It's kind of like the incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Awesome. Okay, so what's our first game, Ben?
Yeah, so we're going to start with some click picture. This is where we grab a weird stock photo from the wide world of the internet, and we're going to paste it into our Discord and laugh at it, and then tell you about it, and then make a game design from it.
Uh-huh.
Sound fun? Let's do it.
Awesome. 3, 2, 1, enter.
Yeah. All right. So we have a woman sitting on a very high stool, legs crossed, and her
in blue jeans. Don't bury the lead.
Blue jeans, nice big heels. And her torso
is on the ground
next to her. And she's sort of looking up in sort of surprise and wonder at her legs on the chair.
Okay, so I've just got this image of playing a VR game in where your hands and your head are disconnected.
Oh.
In the fact that, your body is moving around and you can sort of see it and you can reach down and pick up your head and sort of carry it around.
I do really like that idea of a game where, okay, because here's what I'm thinking, and you'd need like finger tracking for this, but I like the idea that you control your legs by like moving your fingers like a pair of legs. And that's how you have to do that to like walk it around the world, and you can see it in the distance. But then, you're a torso, so you can sort of send your legs off somewhere, and it can be maybe like a bit of a puzzle game or, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. I mean, straight away, I'm sort of thinking. I do like your idea about using the fingers, but the finger tracking is only available on an index, and indexes are kind of hard to find. But you can't even get them in Australia.
But this is like
why limit our audience?
3 years in the future when every VR has finger tracking by then, or is easily. I don't think we need to worry about these sorts of logistics, Trevor. We're an imaginary game.
I really like the idea of a headless horseman style gameplay in which you're carrying your head and you use it as a weapon.
But can't it be both?
You also see through it.
But can't it be both? Oh, you see through it. How do you do that, Trevor? How do you like throw your head and you're still seeing through your head, and then how do you get back to your head?
Well, you've got to look and see the body, and the body has to move towards the you're using your thumbstick to actually move your body towards.
Well, then I think
your
it
head,
should be
and then you're reaching down. I think
it should be the same thing. I think we should mix these ideas. We're a bit antagonistic tonight. We should mix these ideas where, yes, you throw your head, but then to move your body, you have to do the finger thing. Right? So you have to like turn around. It's like room scale. You got to turn around, and that's your head sort of just rotating on the ground. You spot your body over there, and it's like, all right, move. Like move your body with your feet. You're having to control it with your hands. And then like when you get close enough, it like picks you up and puts you back on your shoulders. And then you've got sort of normal.
Or should it be one of those things where you've got like, how in I Expect You to Die, how you could like point at something and then, sort of telekinesis it towards you. You can do that with the head. So as long as you know where the body is, you go, okay, so in order for the body to point at me, the head, I'd need to have it in this sort of position here, and swink, you bring yourself back.
Okay. That's interesting. So you're saying you're looking at the head's eyes.
Yeah.
You can see your body over there. Yeah. But your arm movements are still controlling the body. On the body.
Yes.
Right. How do you rotate the body just with the thumbstick, I guess?
With the thumbstick.
Okay, you rotate the body with the thumbstick. All right, I can get behind that. That'd be interesting to try to do that.
It'd be like those old Resident Evil games with tank controls.
Yeah.
but it's literally like you have to be able to see your body, and the camera is sort of fixed.
Well, it makes a bit more sense then.
Eyes.
At least those tank controls then kind of make sense because you are awkwardly moving your body without being able to actually like see from its perspective. So I think that's how a disembodied head or a disheaded body would actually move, right? Because you're sort of trying to go really slowly. And not run into things. Okay, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what is the goal then? So you're throwing this head around. Are you trying to spook people? Are you the Headless Horseman? Are you the Headless Horseman just going about your day-to-day life? Like every other day except Halloween.
Yeah. In the town of Sleepy Hollow.
Yep.
You basically, your head is actually like a jack-o'-lantern or whatever.
Yep.
And so you can throw it at people. It's flaming the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's supernaturally strong, so it doesn't actually break. But then it's just a, day in the life trying to stay away from all the other residents of Sleepy Hollow.
Like villagers who are trying
to pay bills.
Yeah. So gameplay-wise, what is the use then of throwing the head? I mean, obviously you can sort of use it to get to places that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Like, your body can't get to.
Yep, so your body can't get to the light switch. Okay.
Right, throw your head at the light switch. And then it can telekinesis it back.
Yeah. Now it's bedtime. Now, you got a little bit of light because it's flickering off your head, but...
Well, until you run out of, candles and you have to go to the shops. So you can't go at night. It's going to be too dark. You don't have your candle head light to go
Don't have
by.
candle vision.
Yeah. I like that idea, actually, that most of the time you've just got a nice glow, but it is one level where you've run out of candles and you have to go from streetlight to streetlight. Well, I like the idea of it as a reconnaissance thing too, almost. Like, you don't want to go through the dark. Maybe things happen in the dark in Sleepy Hollow. The even more scary things out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to throw your head into the next pool of light, of street light, to kind of make sure it's safe or something, and then you can have the body follow because you can see from a different perspective or something, or around a corner or something.
Although, have you ever been in light and tried to look into the darkness? It's harder to see into darkness when you're already in light.
This is true.
So if you throw yourself into darkness, then you can actually see, the sort of stuff around you, and the body can actually see as it moves into light and then out again. So I don't know. You've got two different ways
to sort of see that.
Doing it.
You throw yourself into the darkness, your vision adapts, and then you can track your body. Then you can move your body from. Okay. And we're kind of going in a few different ways. We haven't quite locked it down, but I do like the idea of it's basically an escort quest for your own body.
Yeah.
So you're really trying to throw your head into positions where you can get a good view of the hazards to move your body through them, because from the perspective of your shoulders, they're not, it's not visible enough.
Yeah, because if you go to look down, then your head falls off straight away, because you're not continually holding your head.
You just can't look down. I like that idea. And being able to just grab your head off your shoulders. Oh, that'd be really disconcerting. But being able to grab your head off your shoulders and put it around a corner, I'm pretty sure that would make people. I wonder if that would make people motion sick to literally I want to try that now. Lift your head up and the camera's attached to your head, and then you're moving your hands over there around the corner to lean around the corner and poke your head around the corner. Oh my God, that's so funny.
I just don't know whether your mind could actually detach quite easily, or whether it'd be too disconcerting. But
I don't know.
I don't know. It'd be fun to see whether your brain actually goes, you know what, I'm actually fully immersed into this idea.
Oh man, Trev, you and I have to build a prototype of that game, of that mechanic. I think that's nuts. All right. Anyway, escort quest for your body. I like that, and you're having to throw your head. Yeah, that's cool.
Now, it's just standard, day in the life sort of stuff. There's no combat. It's just... Yeah,
I just wonder...
It's all physics puzzles.
It's physics puzzles. You have to, throw your head onto a seesaw to, open a door to get into the bank because you need to deposit a check from your day job, which is, you're a street light.
So it's really your night job.
No, weirdly enough, it's your day job and you're just completely useless. Because you just, yeah. Well, maybe you did like a dark alley or something. I think we'll move on to our other game.
Ramped Up Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random phrase generator in front of us. An adjective and a noun will pop up when we hit the refresh button. We will take those words, we'll give them to each other very kindly, and we'll say, what do you think of this one, Ben? And you'll say, I don't know, Trevor, let's mash them together and see what happens.
That's exactly
And then we come up with a game design just like we did in Click Picture, and then
go from there.
We throw it away and do it again just like we just did. 3 to 1 click.
Mm-hmm. Fussiest trainee.
Busy drain.
Oh, busy drain. Okay. What sort of job could someone be doing as a trainee that involves drains? I mean, like a
sewage worker
or a plumber or a... Yeah. All right.
I know. I kind of like the idea of like a new trainee in the underground of New York.
Okay. So this is a Futurama license game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Somewhat. Well, it's just New York, but, and old New York is underneath the city, and it's very busy because, New York has a lot of,
shit.
a lot of people coming to live there now.
Yeah, there's a huge population. I kind of like this idea as where the gameplay at least is, pipe based. You're connecting up contraptions that are powered by fluids. I'm
liking the idea of like basically a hydroelectric pump.
Yeah,
underneath the city, running from both normal drains, sewer drains, and also the sewerage drains as well. So you got basically different ways of creating the power for the grid.
Right. Oh, I see. So you're using it to create power. Yeah, I think that can be one of the things. I'm almost picturing like Factorio or Satisfactory type thing, but it's all pipes.
Yeah.
Like, Satisfactory, everyone was hanging out so long to have pipes as just one of the methods of moving stuff. Our game's all pipes. It's only pipes. But you've got all different
color-coded pipes.
Well, yeah, yes, but I think the fluids themselves.
You don't want to mix up sewerage with
that's it.
Fresh
exactly.
drinking water or potable water.
Yes. I think the pipes are like mostly clear or have clear sections, so you can see generally what's flowing through them.
I was just going to say the brown pipe is obviously potable water. Like, it just makes sense. Like blue for sewerage, brown for potable.
Yeah, and yellow for the protein mush that gets piped into everyone's house for the replicators.
Yes.
Well, I think that's up to I think that's a choice you can make where you can. It is very much this sort of organizing these pipes sort of game, and you give the player flexibility of, okay, like choose one of 10 colors that you've got. Choose, you can design them differently or put like decals on the side or something. And maybe you put some of these as unlockables as you go through the game or something where you can more easily differentiate different types of pipes. And then they can just hook them up wherever they want. And so you've got, I don't know if you're doing this on a town level or a house level or I don't know what the sort of scale of it is necessarily.
I think you're working on like a city block to start off with.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can also visit old New York. So there's a bit of exploration sort of stuff that you can do as well that, you find collectibles and other parts that are going to help you build more pipes.
Satisfactory style where you're first person or third person in the form of the character. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I like that.
And so your main job is to, hook up this brand new building that they've just installed up above.
Yeah.
And it's got to be able to support X number of people.
Yeah.
And
you've got to build
this
pumps
is like the
to
tutorial
get it
level.
up to, to fight gravity, to get it up to certain levels.
But of course, sewerage doesn't need that because it can just come straight down.
Because coming down, yeah.
Well, but of course, if you do happen to hook that blue sewerage pipe up to the potable water accidentally, then you're going to need to pump it. But pumping solids takes a little bit more to pump up.
Well, and I think you've got tools for like, oh shit, we mixed this water, like we have to clear it out, and you might have to like manually pump it after you've sort of fixed the the accidental merging of them or something. You have to like clear it out. I like the idea though then that like to save money, instead of putting the sewage through like filters and purifiers and stuff, you can just dump it into old New York. Yeah. You've just sort of got a manhole cover
into
or
storage
something.
Containers or whatever.
No, I think you just dump it so that whoever lives in old New York, whether if we go Futurama with the sort of mutant thing or if we, take it a different direction, it's literally just dropping feces. But if you do that too much, you run the risk of an uprising from below that you then they might come and destroy half your shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have to defend against it with like water acid cannons or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if you accidentally pump the sewage up above, then you've got people like attacking from above down. Like no matter what you do, you're sort of like you got to put that sewage somewhere, and there's no good place to put it.
Yeah, I think the sewage has to go somewhere. I think you get options to like filter it and purify it and recycle it, but for one, it's expensive.
A lot of power.
It takes more power. It also makes the water not taste as good afterwards.
And that's where the rich upper class neighborhood, like, they can afford it. Like, they can afford all that extra
like
power.
The flavor of the poo water.
Oh no, you give them like flavoring options so that they can purchase like
also have to pump
a flavor enhancer.
I love it because what I really want to see here is just a huge fucking mishmash of pipes that you just completely lose control over. So I like the idea that you've got your main big pipes that are pumping like your water and your sewage, but then you've got like pipes that can attach to the pipes that are pumping like your flavors and your protein mush and whatever. And you can like run them alongside your other pipes, but that can get confusing.
Yeah, and the whole idea being that if you're pumping, the poo water up to the rich people, the rich people's block that have just moved in, you got to put the flavors that are also derived from the yellow protein mixed with a little bit of the poo water. You got to match the flavor profiles to the different demographic in the building. And the funny thing is, you can work that out from analyzing the poo water.
Right.
Like you can work out what they
so you
like.
Can put you can put a little like tracer section in your pipe that sends you metrics
data.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
And you make sure that the poor neighborhoods get all the clean water because they're the ones that need it the most.
Well, I mean, and I think
they can't go out and afford clean water.
A decision that you make as part of the game, like you could go pure evil capitalist and just only pump sewage to certain people who can't afford it, but you have repercussions in there for that.
Yeah.
Or you can be an actual good person and give the rich people flavored poo water, and they'll lap it up literally.
Because as we all know, rich people love poo water. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's the title of the episode.
Rich people love poo water.
Yeah.
Impaired storm.
Speculative schemer. So there's that trope in college movies or TV shows of that one person who, and the one I'm thinking of right now is Veronica Mars did it. There's the one person who like just doesn't go to class and they're just at college to like, they're super smart, but they just run all these schemes and like get cheat sheets for people and like sell drugs. And
yep,
that's sort of, that's where my mind went. Cause you said dorm, right?
Storm. STORM.
Storm. Well, that's not the same thing at all. You're sitting there going, what the fuck is he talking about?
I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to take your idea and I'm going to run with it, but I'm going to put an extra little thing on. And when I think the word storm, I think of Battle Royale and an incoming storm sort of forcing everyone to the center. And so you have a whole heap of like NPCs in which you're trying to sell drugs and tests to. And they're all being forced into the center and you're basically trying to...
Not sure how that's going to work. Everyone into the quad. The storm's coming.
You're on campus and, the storm's sort of coming in, so the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're selling tests to more and more people, and then when you get into the center...
To merge this together properly, maybe this is a university for demigods.
Okay, yep.
And that's where Storm comes in because, like, half of the student base is because fucking Thor fucked Zeus fucked someone.
Yeah.
Because he's prone to that. So yeah, it's kind of this, like, I guess Percy Jackson-esque, but it's college life, with all these people. And like, not everyone has powers because, you know, you don't always get, you know, big powers being a demigod, but everyone is, is like half god. And then, there is one of these characters, and I don't think they're a Zeus son or a Zeus kid, who's someone that's like the god of intelligence or something, like Hermes or something, or who's Hermes?
I don't remember my Greek mythology.
Oh, Hermes is a herald. Well, that kind of makes sense. Hang on. Greek god of intelligence. Who's that? Cous. There you go. I don't recognize the name.
Cous the Coed. Yep.
Yeah, Cous the Coed. Exactly. And so, that's who you play. You play this child of Cous who is sort of trying to get by in this university, this college situation where all the jocks are like kids of Zeus, and like basically it sets up the cliques based on who your parent is, your godparent, your literal godparent.
And you are literally the only one in college that is the
or Athena. Like
godparent.
Athena is apparently the goddess of reason, wisdom, intelligence. So that's someone who's a bit more known. Yeah. So you've got.
Although we then lose Cous the Coed. Like,
yeah, that's true. I don't know. Cous is a titan. Cous is the titan of intellect.
So absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. Still
hung like a mountain.
Well, I mean, you can have children of titans as well, and they're not like actual mountain sized. They're like sort of Hagrid sized. They're like a fucking Goliath or something from D&D. You know, like they're 8 or 9 feet tall.
See, I'm thinking straight away of God of War and how big the fucking titans were in there.
Yeah, we're not going to go into how a titan impregnates a human or vice versa, but it happens. It's a god thing. Or titan.
Oh god, I can't get that out of my mind. Okay. So, how does the Battle Royale rules come into this thing?
No. Come on. This is a more of a narrative thing, I think.
You said we're going to mash those ideas together, and my idea
but it was
was
the storm. It was the storm that we're mashing together. All right, we can go Battle Royale. We can go Battle Royale.
Basically, it's a hero
like
shooter.
Archetypes. Yeah, it's very Apex Legends, which we've been playing lately, where you've got your different characters and they are all children of the different gods, and it's Battle Royale, but it's themed like it's as if this is like the college sport, right? This is
I'm seeing this as literally your characters are like the characters from Overwatch. But you're in teams of 3 or 2 or whatever teams you want. 1, 2 or 3 or 4.
Yep.
Depending on your party size, because we usually play in a 2 or a 3.
Yep.
And, you know, you've got all your weapons there already. You're just sort of playing the typical, Battle Royale without having to loot too much, ammo or anything like that. It's more around the,
I think it's more around
the Overwatch
mana.
way.
Well, it's more around mana and power in that way then, because you've got the different
and collectibles
powers.
and that sort of stuff.
Okay. And here's the thing. To keep this on the university theme, let's mix it up a little. Instead of one big Battle Royale game that takes like half an hour or 20 minutes, you've got multiple rounds in between which you have to go to class. And you better hope that your next class is within the ring. Yeah, well, maybe, or it's just that like it's like mini Battle Royale. So maybe it's a faster match, and it's like multi matches, right? It's like multi Battle Royale matches. And in between you go to class, and that lets you skill up certain things just for that match. Like it's only a match level thing. Obviously, you do level up overall as well and get different equipment or different, aesthetic things as well. But I think it's more like, okay, which class am I going to go to? I've got the option of I can go to fucking.
Oh, you go to like the sciences, and that increases your intellect, which allows you to get more mana points or whatever for the next round that's coming up,
something like that.
Or you can go to like a physical education sort of stuff, and you get a little bit more strength and a little bit more armor or
that
something
sort of
like
thing.
that.
And I think maybe it's different per archetype. So like if you're a child of Zeus, then going to science class might just give you more mana or something, or like power, give you an extra, like your lightning goes in extra, bounces or something. But if you're, the co-ed, it's more of a, you've got some tech, or you've got the ability to like see enemies, or like you theme them in different ways, but the different archetypes get different bonuses depending on which class they go to.
Yeah, I love that. Instead of the typical hero thing of these heroes are specifically skinned and all that sort of stuff, it's more around you get to sort of design your own hero.
Yes. But
from the archetype.
From that archetype of you are the child of a particular god or titan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, actually. I like that. I like that a lot. It gives a bit more of a personal touch to your character.
You also don't know what sort of character's coming at you until they reveal it.
Perhaps. I think you'd have certain thematic.
You need to be on the lookout for the electricity like coming off this person.
Something like that.
Zeus' son.
Yeah, or you
Zeus' daughter,
you force them to have certain thematic things where it's like, okay, well, like all of the different like logos they can choose. Lightning based, Yeah. But you've got a bunch of different options you can have.
I'm imagining the ultimate for like, is it Hades that's actually the god, or is that's the underworld?
Hades is the
Hell.
king of the god of wealth.
Yeah.
God of wealth, king of the
god of the underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also described the home of the dead as well. So,
and his dog is Cerberus.
Yeah.
He can have a pet.
So I'm thinking that your ultimate for that is you unleash Cerberus, and basically the Cerberus goes around killing,
definitely
maiming, not killing. I'm imagining that
they're all gods. They're all like god people, right? So it just like saps their, I don't know, it saps their godness or something, whatever, or they just heal quickly, or
they disintegrate and then they reappear in the infirmary.
So I'm loving the different archetypes that we can pull from. Like Hermes is all about travel, speed, like maybe helping your team get around. Poseidon is do you make
water control?
I mean, do you make Poseidon like fucking Aquaman, where it's like, oh my god, another level? There's no fucking water here.
Yeah, and you're running through like the quad, and you're like pulling water from the fountain.
That's all you've got is the fountain and a pond,
and a drinking fountain, and like there's.
I guess, yeah. Look, I guess
someone's coming down the road, with a drink bottle, and you control the water in there, or and this is absolutely crazy. The ultimate is that you can control the 80% of the water that people are made of.
Oh, you do some blood bending?
Yeah.
That could be a good.
That's like
that could
the
be a good ultimate. Actually, I don't know how you'd actually control that. Does it just like take control of all the people, and for 5 seconds they walk towards the nearest hazard?
Or they, you can target it like one or two people, and they turn immediately on their fellow friends and do damage or whatever.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I think I like that a lot, and I like mixing it up a bit from the standard Battle Royale with the rounds. That'd be.
I kind of like the idea of having like another child of Cronus, and having time powers.
Time powers, Jesus. The
time power for the ultimate is literally instead of stopping time, because that's really, really hard to do in multiplayer, you just make them incredibly old really, really quickly.
Well, or I was thinking it just like slows everyone else down in an area or something. And
that could work. Kind of like
speed.
Kind of like the May ultimate, where people would gradually slow down to nothing.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
3 to 1 click.
Let's do it. Emphatic spa.
Conditional creature.
Okay. So the emphatic spa made me think this is the video game adaptation of Hot Tub Time Machine. And perhaps like conditional creature, perhaps there's like creatures coming through this time stream or something. Is this like a horde shooter where the spa is like the hot tub is like spawning out creatures that you have to fight?
But only if the conditions are wrong. So, you know, someone left to use condom in there, then then you know that, oh shit.
Or maybe conditional is what type of creatures come out. So yes, if it's the used condom, then you get like giant prophylactics that are all goopy coming out. But if it's that they dropped a beer in there, you get like, you know, beer base.
A beer bong.
A beer bong. Type creature. Okay, I'm not sure this is a thing. Hot Tub Time Machine doesn't exactly lend itself to a shooter or any sort of video game, really, seeing as it's just kind of a sex romp comedy.
I never saw the second one. I'm not sure whether I want to.
I don't recall it, which means it was probably mostly forgettable. But
did have Adam Scott in it though, so
I do like some Adam Scott in my movie face. Is this a horror game set in like a day spa? And the creature came from the mud bath. It's like a dripping like creature from the Black Lagoon kind of style thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like drops muddy footprints everywhere to hide from it.
Yep. And you're trying to run the spa as if everything's fine.
You're trying to run it. I was more thinking like a survival like horror kind of like Alien Isolation style.
Well, you've still got that, but you're still trying to make a buck at the same time.
You're still trying to make a buck. So you managed to lock the mud monster into the sauna, which you know is going to weaken it because it like hardens. No, that's not going to. It's going to weaken it if you don't put any water in there because it hardens up the muddy shell. And then you're like, all right, front desk, let all the people in. Got to make some money. Oh shit, it got out. Everybody out.
It's more the fact that you don't realize it until like it's 9:30 in the morning. The spa's been open for like an hour, and you get told that there's someone who's been maimed in the sauna, and there was mud seen, you know, leading up to it. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
So you go and investigate, and you know your boss has sort of said, we need today's work to go really, really well because if we don't make our thresholds, we're going to close.
Okay.
But at the same time, you've got...
I like the challenge of mixing survival horror with, you know, basic sort of management sim / narrative, whatever. So this is just this day. So it's set across this single day.
Yep.
It's sort of I'm thinking like a third person, of sort of picturing like Hitman sort of perspective, not gameplay necessarily, but just walking around as someone like that. Where you get that sort of view and you can move around, you can like interact with things. And yeah, then at like 9:30, someone comes and says that one of the people who came in is missing and like the mud's everywhere in the mud spa room and like what's going on. And then you're just walking around investigating this and occasionally you'll like find muddy footprints and
you'll think, oh. So obviously she came this way, but these footprints are a little bit too big. They're like a, you know, size 14 to 15.
She must have left her fluffy slippers on in the mud bath. Oh, I hate when people do that.
Yeah. And then you see her viscerally get, you know, ripped apart or whatever, or he get ripped apart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. I pictured you playing as a woman, which maybe is gender role specific of someone working at a day spa, but also... We need more.
She's a manager.
We also need more women protagonists.
Oh, she's the assistant manager. So
yeah.
But yeah, I do like the idea that, you know, all of a sudden she's like, okay, I've now got to deal with this. So you're going through the background, through these dark like steam pipe areas and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you hear creaks and all this sort of stuff.
And then you get a call from your manager, and you're like, "There's not enough people to come in today. You gotta get your game up." And then you're having to like balance
her being
that.
the assistant manager, you know, she goes through this dingy looking door, and she just exits out into like this pure bright,
the beautiful spa foyer or whatever,
and I just
immediately
love
gets accosted by a customer, you know, trying to find the cucumber room.
Yeah. So I love the idea of like the Nightmare on Elm Street style steam pipes and boiler room sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then
juxtaposed
against like the clean spa living. I kind of like the idea of it, of like an airlock of clean, where as soon as it sort of opens up, it's into
you
this
hear
dirty,
like the
dingy
whoosh of the clean scented air into the airlock, because you don't want any. They pump out the gross, dingy air from outside, from the behind the scenes. Okay, I kind of like this where you sort of got this frantic thing. So I feel like maybe you haven't even necessarily seen this monster yet. You know something's up, but you kind of have to keep up appearances, and you're constantly getting berated or like called upon by your boss to really push you to just keep business going as usual.
I just got a call. The spa room is running out of hot towels. Go get some more.
Yeah, exactly. But then as you do that, and you like, again, go into the sort of the storage area where they heat up the towels, and you
on
catch
the boiler itself.
Yeah, they're just kind of like draped across the filthy boiler. You catch a glimpse of like something moving, or you hear a sound like something clattering or whatever, and you have these tense moments where you don't know what's going on, and you kind of are getting freaked out, and then you back into the swing of it.
I don't know. There's something about like how cool the lighting could be in this thing of, the harsh sort of fluorescentness of the spa versus the harsh like boiler room orangey ready glow from like
just the
below and dark and dingy, and
just the temperature of the lighting in each and the glare of it. Yeah, for sure. It's much more diffuse lighting when you're outside, and it's sort of like light bouncing off everywhere. Whereas when you're behind the scenes, it's like coming from the one bare light bulb.
That swinging light bulb.
Because the manager's totally stingy. Like, they put on appearances from the outside, but they don't spend any money on actual amenities behind the scenes.
You know what? Each area has like a little detector to see whether you're there, and that's what switches it on. Because I like the idea that as you're going through, your single swinging light bulb gets switched on.
Yep.
And then you look off to the side and you see a light bulb just all of a sudden flick on like 4 areas away.
Yeah, that's good.
And you're like, oh,
then it flicks off, and then the one closer flicks on.
That typical library thing that they have in the States.
Yeah. Well, I know that would make sense. Again, your boss is completely miserly, and so they've put sensor lights in literally every room, and you're constantly getting pissed off because if you do something in one room that's not like energetic enough, the light just ends up turning off. If you haven't moved for long enough, because the timeout is so low.
I'm just imagining pipes everywhere that can, like small little offcuts of pipes that can fall and make that really sharp clattering sound that you hear sometimes in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Just lots of those everywhere.
Something heavy and metal hitting concrete. Yeah, for sure.
Or heavy and metal hitting a heavy metal grate.
Well, exactly.
Gives that too. Pretty awesome sound.
Oh, I love the idea that you realize that this mud monster can go through the grates because it just melts its way through. You start finding just residue, like footprints ending at a muddy grate. And you're like, oh shit, they've gone into the lower level or whatever.
So the latter parts of the game are where the two sort of get brought together. There's more attacks on the bright area. And the only safe haven is like out the back sort of thing.
Yeah,
so you're bringing...
I'm almost starting to picture this as a bit of like a Quantic Dream style game where it's, fairly heavily narrative based, or kind of like Until Dawn style thing, where it's mostly narrative. Maybe there's some replayability with different branching stuff. But yeah, and so then you can really ramp up that tension as the game goes along into the later stages, and you're getting more... closer and closer, or actual interactions with this creature. And you're sort of probably having like quick time events or little mini games or just having to run away sort of things and lock them in a room that's going to stop them for a while, whether that is, the sauna or whatever.
Yep. And I don't know, to allow it to go a little bit further, and open up for like a potential sequel.
Yeah.
is when you finally beat the mud monster. Like, you're going out the back and you hear something growling. So there's actually something else there. Like,
oh yeah,
there's maybe in the background.
Sure, it's in like the isolation tanks. You hear something in one of those. Well, I like that idea. I like that.
I'm just imagining one part of the game where you got to hide in an isolation tank.
God.
That is actually it's that pure silence.
Yeah, all you can hear is the water sloshing around in there,
and then you open it up and you hear the monster. But of course, if
you open too soon,
yeah,
or it just opens it. You're like waiting and then just gets pulled open. Or actually, you do that, but then it would like be your boss or something. It's like, what are you doing hanging out in this fucking tank? You're supposed to be working. I also like the idea that as the game goes on, maybe as you do damage to it or like manage to hurt it in some ways, you start seeing what's under the mud.
Yeah,
like it's not just made purely of mud. There's like something obscene beneath. That'd be fun to design. All right, cool. Yeah. I like it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, click. Productive meantime.
Astronomical periscope. How would an astronomical periscope work?
It's obviously a submarine-based astronomical research laboratory.
So it's under the water, but it sticks the periscope up to look at the stars.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of world can we generate where astronomers have to like be hiding and be on the move, like be mobile and secretive?
Okay, so it's set after an apocalypse, like a nuclear apocalypse or something like that. Yeah. And the only safe place is underwater.
Okay, but because it like blocks enough of the radiation.
Yeah, like you get enough of a shield, it sort of acts almost like an ozone layer.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure water does a pretty decent job of blocking radiation.
Yeah. Scientists who want to study the stars and sort of study the world, need to travel around in submarines. Obviously, can't go too high.
Oh, okay.
So they put up the periscope to.
This is good. This world that we're building here. So post-apocalypse, the entire surface of the planet is radiated. So everyone has had to go into habitats underwater because the ocean is the best shield against that radiation we have. And so, effectively these astronomers are like the equivalent of our astronauts now, who also have to deal with like radiation from not having protection from our atmosphere. Yeah, I love that. And so they're going up and they're risking, and there may be even
life and limb.
Yeah, there may be even moments where, like, I think you can survive, like, above the water for a certain amount of time, but you probably get a pretty severe dose of radiation. And so we can play with that and the fear of that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the only way that you can sort of go up is in those old-timey, big bell diving suits sort of thing.
That's the only way you can go above the surface?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
they're like lead lined or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes that makes sense.
I kind of like the idea that they can swim underwater with relative ease. They've got like personal diving suits, but they need big bulky diving suits for traveling out onto land.
We're flipping the norm. That's cool. I like that a lot. That's a cool aesthetic. And then having to because it also plays into the space thing where to get these fucking heavy suits up there, like you need enough energy, enough power. And it's not like having to break orbit, but it's or break gravitational pull, but like it's a similar sort of thing. Like if you're taking 6 people up there, you need a bigger fucking sub or whatever. Yeah, the whole weight aspect of it is interesting. So okay. I like this a lot. Maybe this is almost there aren't enough of these type of games lately. It's got I'm picturing it's got a very Wing Commander or like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter vibe.
Okay.
Where you're going out on these missions in the sub. And that's your main gameplay is like these sort of mostly narrative missions where you're going from point to point and then something happens at that time. And maybe there is like combat. Maybe there's actually, you're fighting deep sea creatures.
I'm thinking it's sort
factions.
of like, if you remember X-Wing Alliance and that sort of stuff, they had a very story-based start where you were working for like your uncle's sort of area, trying to deal with both the Resistance and the, and the Imperials.
Or even all the, like the Wing Commander ones. I mean, by the time they got to Wing Commander fucking 3, 4, 5 when they were doing full motion video video scenes and stuff, like the story was all in between the missions, and the missions fed into the story in that way, but the story happened in between. The gameplay was really, you'd get like voiceovers and stuff, and I think we'd have that too. But yeah, I like these in between scenes where you're on the base and you're creating relationships with people and like learning about the world, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's go off on the next mission, and now you're adding your sub.
Yeah, I like the idea that your first sort of missions are going out, sort of tending to the underwater gardens and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think you've got you start with your lighter, more technologically advanced subs that are just sort of little get-arounds. But when you start getting to the ones where you got to go close to the surface, yeah, maybe
that's when you need the full-on lead-lined ones.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe they're all like retrofitted older subs, like nuclear submarines and stuff, which would already have a lot of radiation shielding or whatever.
Oh, because I'm imagining that deep sea sort of stuff would have a lot more 3D sort of, 3 dimensions of battle that, obviously you can't go down too deep because of the pressure, and you can't go too high because of the radiation.
Yeah.
So it's sort of stuck in that sandwiched level.
Yeah, but you still get that aspect of, it's not the full kind of there's no up of space, which can get really confusing because those Wing Commander and TIE Fighter games often did end up being just like spinning around until you see someone and then like tracking them, and you kind of don't get that real sense of spatial, knowing where you are in space. But
okay, so I've just been tracking this A-Wing for the last half hour, and yes, I played some fucking X-Wing Alliance recently, and oh no, it was TIE Fighter. I was playing TIE Fighter, and these A-Wings are just so goddamn fast that I couldn't keep up with them, couldn't shoot them, and it took me half an hour to kill one of them. I had to kill 5 of them.
Yeah, that's frustrating. So we're going to make our game at least as frustrating. No, I do really like that idea because, yes, you've got more of the spatial thing where you can find ways to create like landmarks and stuff where you've got, a big coral reef and, sort of different underwater structures and bases and things.
It's much deeper than what a Subnautica is, but it's also, you've got predefined habitats that you're out
to the point,
defending and that sort of stuff.
And deeper to the point that I think, like your first missions, there's no way for you to get to the surface. For one, your vehicles aren't designed to go that high. I don't know if they change. Anyway, maybe it gives you a warning of like you're ascending too fast, you're going to get fucking nitrogen poisoning in your blood or whatever. But to the point that when you do need to take those surface trips, just like in some of those games, you need to literally do like time dilation before you get there. Like it's.
Well, I'm thinking that's what those big diving suits are for. They're pressurized suits so that they keep the same pressure that you're used to down there.
Yeah.
So that's why you can actually go up really quickly because you've kept the same pressure in the suit.
Yeah.
It not only keeps you safe from the radiation, but it also keeps you safe from the pressure change.
Yeah, from the bends.
Oh, I'm just imagining you go into a fight on land and someone punctures your suit and you just explode from the pressure change.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how the land stuff works. I mean, I guess it's not, too tricky to do some third-person land-based stuff.
I'm thinking nuclear winter up there, going up against mutated animals, but there's no humans left up there.
Well, I'm just wondering whether the on-land stuff is more akin to the on-base stuff, where it's more exploratory and expositional, with the main gameplay being your actual sub fighting and stuff. Going between, your smaller craft, which is a lot more like your kind of X-Wing v TIE Fighter dogfighting style thing. But moving up to, as you get into bigger subs, you've got more torpedo, firing your torpedoes off from a distance and tracking them longer distance and that sort of thing. You can't maneuver as fast, but you've got, heavier weapons and more armor and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I really like. I don't know why they've sort of gone off that space sort of mission based gameplay.
I'm not sure there hasn't been one.
Even Elite Dangerous went away from that. The original Elite had a lot more sort of mission based stuff, whereas the later ones is just sort of it's all exploratory. And
like No Man's Sky, but that's not really narrative in that way. That's very much more, I mean, obviously so much around it was the procedural stuff. But yeah, there's not as much of that kind of story based narrative go on missions. Yeah. Don't know.
Oh, I like it.
Well, now we've got a new one and we took it into a new area. I love it. All right, I think.
Can someone please make it?
Yeah, please.
And then add VR to it because VR would just be amazing.
That would be cool, actually. Yeah.
It's just added bonus. Yeah. It doesn't have to be as the main draw card.
All right, I think we're going to go on to our final click picture. It's about.
Can't wait to see this picture.
It's about that time. So, 3, 2, 1, here we go. I'm not gonna go out and drag this one out. It's a goldfish who's packed its bags and left its fishbowl. It has
on legs
and a weird sort of
human nose,
human nose, sort of. Yeah, but I like this. A goldfish who has decided, fuck this water thing. I'm going to become a land creature.
Yeah, I think we can take this to a like a walking fish sort of thing, in the fact that this fish has somehow grown lungs as well as gills.
Well, I don't even want to explain it. I want this to be one of those kind of wacky, comical kind of games. It's just like the fish literally is at the start, I'm going to go outside today, and they like jump out of the water and they grow arms and legs.
This is a fish's holiday.
It's a fish out of water kind of game.
Yep.
Literally. And you just go around and start interacting with things and people, and they're like, what the fuck, aren't you a fish? You're supposed to be in the water. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I didn't want to be in there today.
I'm going on a European vacation. I want to see the world.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm a goldfish. 3 seconds later, hello, I'm a goldfish.
National Lampreys European vacation. I don't know how deep you go on the memory thing. You could, though. It's just the next thing.
It's just a little joke that the fish, sort of does at the start of the game.
Oh, it's just fish humor.
It's just fish humor.
It's just like, nah, I'm just fucking with you. I can remember lots of things. I kind of want to make this like a RPG.
Okay. But more narrative-based RPG, not much combat?
So when I say RPG, I guess I don't mean like full RPG where you've got a ton of stats and it's all combat-based. I guess just the vibe of it where, I don't know, maybe it's not like an RPG. I'm trying to think what I wanted to get out of that, but...
I'm thinking that this is very much a, you get to help this fish have like an amazing holiday. Because I'm imagining that like it's never seen the world, it's only ever seen its fishbowl. Yeah. And wants to get out and see the world, because, he had a health scare or whatever, and, wants a bit of a sea change and having a bit of a midlife crisis as far as
sea change.
As far as a fish is concerned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think you just treat it very comical. I'm almost actually now, I guess I'm picturing it more as like a point and click adventure, but not pointing and clicking, but like third person.
Yeah.
So
kind of
like some
Grim
puzzles,
Fandango
some
sort of
puzzles. Yeah, maybe. I love the idea that for like 30 seconds after you get out of your fishbowl, when you try to move forward, you veer to the left because like that's the direction you always swam. Just throw that in there as a little joke. But yeah, and then it's just about like, okay, I'm a fish. How the fuck do I like get to Europe?
So your first thing is go to the bus station. Go, okay, where am I and how do I get to Europe? Well,
and how far is Europe?
You're in Luxembourg. Okay, I'm already in Europe. Awesome.
I'm in Europe. Actually, I really like that. I like that idea, actually, that the first 5 minutes of the game are like, I want to go on a European vacation, until you find out you're in the European city. And then it's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll visit a different European city. Yeah, and I think you can kind of see where this would go from a humor point of view. It's very sort of surreal, quirky humor. And
he really didn't like the fishing village when he went there. Saw all those fish being gutted.
Yeah, well, you've got all sorts of fish puns. If he's just like, I was going to say like Pike Place Market in Seattle, but we're in Europe. But anyway, like a fish market, and they're throwing the fish and stuff. And he's like, oh, that looks like fun. Wait, what do you mean they're all dead? Basically discovering like the genocide of his people, that they eat fish for food and...
But they don't seem to eat goldfish.
Yeah, they don't eat goldfish. Goldfish have that privilege.
Oh, no. We brought it back to it.
Yeah, maybe let's keep it lighter than that. I guess, how do people react to this fish? Are they like
surprised? Like the idea of they accept the offer that he's a fish, and then they just continue along with their day, and they basically act as though this is just a normal thing. And as you go around, like, you see different pets that are on their European vacations as well, like
axolotl.
Yeah, I'm imagining like there's like a parrot who's off on.
I was going to say parrot. Yep,
off on their vacation and sort of final swan song. Before.
A parrot on vacation.
You've been listening to too much Hey Riddle Riddle.
Never too much.
Okay, I'm trying to get into my mind who I want to do the voice of this fish.
Oh, shit. That's good. I guess, is this sort of is it like a Patrick Warburton style thing?
I don't know.
Or do you go more of, that's tough. Fish, goldfish.
Okay. We've done this once before, and it's come up with some pretty cool laughs.
All right.
Have a think who could be your person.
Okay.
And then on the count of 3, 2, 1, we'll say who we think should actually be voicing this fish. 3, 2, 1. Dame
Will
Maggie Smith.
Well, they're both Smiths.
Yep.
Dame Maggie Will Smith.
I know. I'm just picturing, Mrs. McGonagall as this wise fish sort of going around.
Yeah, okay. I was definitely going in a different direction with more of a kind of cool fish vibe, but I like it as sort of the wiser, more down to earth sort of fish. They're like everyone else is and that juxtaposes the wackiness of the fact that she's a fucking fish on vacation.
To be a very serious
she just doesn't take any shit. I like that.
But
That's
I also like the idea of a Will Smith
Will Smith can play the parrot that she befriends.
You've used that joke before, except you used it as who was it? Ricky Gervais as the parrot.
As a parrot?
Yes, in one of the pirate games that we did.
That's funny. Well, it's only because we already said parrot today. I know. Ricky Gervais, even though he's a prick, would make a good parrot, though.
Yep.
He's a pretty good parrot.
So is Stephen Merchant.
Yeah. In fact, if we're going to hire Ricky Gervais, let's just not and hire Stephen Merchant instead.
Yeah. Because Stephen Merchant is just awesome. Okay, so we know how it would be if Maggie Smith was there, but I do like the idea of a Will Smith sort of led vehicle in this goldfish game, because it wouldn't be very.
Look, he's played an animated fish before.
Yeah, he has in Shark Tale.
Shark Tale, that memorable piece of cinema.
Yes, cinema history. I know, I'm kind of now imagining like Will Smith as Hitch, but as a goldfish.
Going around like trying to set people up, help people with their relationship problems. The benefit of being a goldfish and only having a 3-second memory is that you can, see people as they really are and see them fresh every time with fresh eyes. It's got all these fucking, yes, I poop in my own water. But,
yes, I drink that.
But you've been pooping in your own water. This is a metaphor for your relationship.
Don't you live in New York and you're a part of the affluent neighborhood, aren't you?
Part of the affluence neighborhood. All right. I think we're done. I think we're done for today. We're going to leave it there. So thank you for joining us on this waterlogged episode of Bitstorm. If you want to find us online, you can go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. All of our previous episodes are there. There is a huge backlog. We're coming up fast on episode 200. This is just insane. We are also part of the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasts around video gaming, pop culture, role-playing. There's some actual play stuff that's going on that's really cool. Just go check them out, 8bit.net. Check out the Patreon. They're donating Patreon funds to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and we're really proud to be part of this this forward-thinking collective. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So go check them out at 8bit.net.
Do you like podcasts? Do you like gaming? Do you like Australia? Go check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook or at AGP Network on Twitter. And finally, we'd like to thank Kurudas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
I'm Ben Slinger. Sorry, I went around my fishbowl. Forgot what we were doing.